Jay, it's nice to have you at All Things Open.
Thank you for having me.
You are very welcome. I think this is your first year, first-time speaker.
Yes.
It's a pleasure to host you.
Thank you.
You've done a great job.
Appreciate that.
So we're curious. We knew about you before you got here, before you actually spoke, and we got to know you via your YouTube videos. We had watched a bunch of them, us along with hundreds of thousands of other people.
Yeah.
So we were fans before you ever got to ATO. So, we get this question all the time. What's the secret to a successful YouTube video? So I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that's a very deep, long, probably, a long answer to a very short question. I know there are many variables in play at any one time. But, could you help people out? Maybe they're listening that are considering YouTube, maybe are on YouTube right now, maybe some lessons learned or things that they might need to be aware of, or I don't know, just help them out just a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's a one-word short answer, and then there's the longer answer, which I think people are more interested in. But the short answer is passion. You can't fake it. If you like it, you like it, right? So if you're doing something that you like, it shows, and people really like that. If you're just doing a video and you just really don't care for it, but you think you could get rich or something, people really aren't interested in that. They want to know that you have passion, and I think knowledge is also a really important thing. If somebody's reviewing something and they really don't know much about it, I think people kind of, why is that person reviewing something if they don't know about it? So, but passion is the most important thing. And I feel like everything else comes from that, because with passion, it leads to everything you need to be successful on YouTube, because you're going to build it up. Like when I started, it was with a $15 microphone from Walmart and a $150 old computer from the flea market. It was recorded in, I think, 720p at the time. And in my opinion, I can't even watch that content anymore. I mean, there's literally a hideous microphone hum in there I couldn't figure out at the time how to get rid of. And over time, it just grew. So then I made like $70 in a month at one point, and I'm like, oh, cool, a new video game. But then later on, it's like the money I get back, I put it back in the channel. And I think that's how it works. You just kind of grow it. People really can't afford to buy everything all at once. And people that want to get started, and I had someone ask me this earlier. He said, well, how do I get a YouTube channel started? And I said, do you have $20? He looked at me like, what? And I said, just buy a $20 cell phone tripod mount from Amazon or whatever you buy your things from, and that's it. And just use it to get your cell phone, point your cell phone at you, hit the record button, and people can get started for just $20. And I'm actually kind of jealous about how great phones on cameras are. The cameras on phones are now compared to, the equipment that I had to pay a lot of money for, that it kind of beats some of that equipment. Right. But people might underestimate phones, and you just start small, and then when you get money, like some profit, put it back into the channel. And I'm not saying people should just go crazy or anything like that, but then you can eventually maybe buy a studio camera, save up for that, and a studio microphone. You might get into like audio editing software, right? Because you might want to start editing some things. And I was using the free software like Kdenlive for a long time. It just couldn't hold up to what I do now, so I had to move to something else. So there's a cost there, and you just kind of slowly build it up, and then you find yourself not having to buy anything anymore. But at the same time, there's people that are successful that have bought nothing because the cell phone is good enough. It's nowadays you could do 4K 60 off a cell phone, and you could buy a ring light from your store, point it at you, and you could probably be fine with just that. But passion is what's really going to separate you from everyone else.
What role does time play? I guess time is connected to passion, right? If you're passionate about something, time sort of dissipates, right? Time, you're not looking at your watch as you're doing something if you really love it. Right. And because I know, I have friends in the industry. They're very successful. But, it wasn't overnight success, right? Overnight success is typically about 15 years. That's the old cliche, right? I think
wow. Okay.
There's some truth to it. Meaning that, many people ostensibly, they're looking at it from the outside. They think, wow, it must be great to be that person.
Right.
They had success immediately. Wow, they were lucky. But in fact, that person, in reality, if the truth were told, has actually been working at something really a long time, a good number of years in most cases. Yeah. So I guess passion, maybe there's a correlation to time, and some things just take time to build out.
Really, yeah, totally. And I feel like if you're working on any passion project, time doesn't exist. I don't care if you're a painter and you're working on your next painting, or you're molding pots or something like that out of clay. You're happy in the moment. And when you're in the moment, time doesn't exist anymore because it's just you and that thing that you're doing. And whether it's, Linux related things, open source development, or something completely unrelated to anything that we're talking about, I've seen people make videos about carving bars of soap with a pocket knife, and they did well. I've seen another YouTube channel, and I use this example a lot, where I guess there's a lava flow within walking distance from this person's house. So he just puts random objects in the flow of the lava to see what would happen. So if you want to see a tomato soup can explode, well,
Wow.
there you go. But sometimes it's just having the idea. But if I feel like a lot of the people that ask me how to start a channel, what should I start it about? I think they already know, but they don't know they know. It's something they're already doing, and they just didn't think it would be something that would resonate with their audience. But I can almost promise you, everybody that wants to start a YouTube channel, there's already something that they could do with that, and they have it already.
Right. Do you have a favorite video that you've shot? Maybe one that you maybe learned a lot from, or the feedback was really educational, or I don't know. I mean,
there was one recently where I have never done much with special effects because I have a few people that are better at 3D effects and things than I am. But I decided to give it a shot one time where it was actually with System 76, who's here, and it was their latest desktop. I had it for probably a month before anyone knew that it was going to be a thing. So I just figured I would tease them a little bit. Just kind of have some fun. And sometimes I do that. Like one time I literally sent them back a computer with Hannah Montana Linux installed on it because I did a review on it for April Fools. But what I did this time was I started the video like, I'm doing a review on the desktop, but unfortunately it didn't arrive yet. I have no idea what's going on. The tracking number, I don't know. It's supposed to be here. And then next thing you know, there's a TARDIS effect with the desktop, like just fading in and out on my desk, and I timed it perfectly. I'm like, whoa, But that was like, for me, the first time I started, I think I realized like I'm getting better at the video editing side of things because it does take time. And then I learned this feature for a completely unrelated reason. I realized you could actually use that to do, that kind of thing too. Right. So it works so well actually, and then I had some fun with that. So I feel like there's often not one video, but there's stepping stones. Like if I look at a video a year ago, it doesn't really even compare to something I'm doing now. And you don't notice that because every week you're better, right? It is so small. But if you compare each segment of time, I feel like you're going to really see that big difference. And when you look back at it, you'll see your progress over time. I feel like that's a really important thing to notice because that kind of helps you understand how much better you're getting at the whole process.
Yeah. Anything on the horizon we should know about? Anything coming? Anything sort of to be on the lookout for? And if not, that's
there's a series of there's a bunch of things because it's an interesting question because when it comes to evergreen content, and if someone listening doesn't know what that means, it's content that doesn't really age. Like if I'm doing a video on a program that doesn't change much. What I'll do is I'll record ahead. So sometimes people will say, hey, I like that video you did. I'm like, you're just now seeing that? Oh, right, because I recorded that 3 months ago, right? So when it comes to what's coming, I can easily tell you because I literally have 5 of them on my hard drive right now that were recorded last July.
Wow.
I mean, there's tutorials. I have a number of videos in the Linux Crash Course series, which is over 40 videos, and I'm not sure if it's going to end because I feel like I'll just keep this going until I run out of content.
Right.
And I have a bunch of things planned. But there's a series of OpenStack videos. I'm in the scripting process so those are very early. They might land before the end of the year, and I'm thinking that they probably will. So there's that. I think that's going to be the biggest one. And I feel like as soon as this conversation is over, I'll remember, oh yeah, that's the bigger one I should have mentioned and I should have talked about. But then again, the video that I'm recording for this convention here, I'm kind of, a little nervous, as I think content creators always are. What if the footage didn't turn out? I think it's fine. I think it'll be totally fine. And I think it'll be fun just to show people all things open from my point of view as well. And I think that there's a lot of people that would really like to see that.
We'll be on the lookout for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might have an interest in that one. I don't know.
I think you might.
Where can our community find you? We were fans before you got here, and you've been a massive hit here. Yay. Lines, full rooms, filled seats. There's a lot of interest in your content here, which we thought there would be. So things have turned out exactly the way we thought they would. But maybe people listening to this, they don't know where to find you. Where might they find you?
LearnLinux.tv. Basically, that links to virtually everything. The book I just put out, You can go to ubuntuserverbook.com and go right to where you can order it. So that's pretty simple for most. But learnlinux.tv, that website links to everything. There's the forums that are on there. The YouTube videos are embedded there. And I also have playlists that are synchronized to that site as well. So you can see the courses, like if someone wants to learn Proxmox, they can find it right in the menu. So I try to make it pretty easy to navigate. So I think it's kind of like when it comes to Linux, I'm finding like it's hard to miss me at this point because I Google Linux and I'm like, well, at one point I wasn't even on the first couple of pages, believe it or not, recently when it comes to Linux. And I realized, because YouTube, it's Learn Linux TV. I have it as no space in between each. I put the space in because when they're searching for just Linux, right? Because there's no space in there. So I put the space in there. Oh, now I'm showing up again. So I think I fixed the problem. I think people will have no problem finding me.
Really interesting. Well, I would encourage everyone listening to go check you out.
Thank you.
Again, you've been great here. And our community's reception to you has been phenomenal. It's been off the charts.
Wow, cool.
So thank you for speaking. Thank you for joining us.